This is the recorded video presentation for the business project of BPP University, student number BP 0052879. The title of this project is A Study of Users' Loyalty to the Online Language Learning Platform Duolingo. This research intends to assess customers' loyalty to Duolingo, which is an online language learning platform. During the literature review, it was identified that loyalty can be considered in two approaches, which are the behavioral and the attitudinal perspectives, being the behavioral one, being this idea of repurchase intention, whereas the attitudinal perspective considers a psychological attachment from the user to the product. Considering that a loyal customer can be 10 times more profitable than a regular one, business tend to encourage the loyalty behavior between this consumer and brand. And it's a desire also shared by online businesses such as Duolingo. However, it can be a bigger challenge for these companies due to the characteristics of the environment, which enable a higher competition, and there is a facility of new entrants. So in this research, it was identified that customer loyalty can be analyzed by combining three aspects, which are customer satisfaction, perceived value, and trust. Customer satisfaction is the capacity that the company has to fulfill the user's expectations. Perceived value is the amount that these users are willing to pay for the product, which can be a monetary amount or another. And trust is the bond that is created after the customer satisfaction is consolidated. Duolingo is a mobile application, and it's free to download both on Apple and Google stores, and it makes it profit, offering an English proficiency test and providing a crowdsourcing translation service. Therefore, the aim of this research is to analyze users' loyalty to Duolingo, combining customer satisfaction, perceived value, and trust. This research followed a quantitative methodological choice, and it was an online questionnaire that was distributed online. There were 102 responses, and 57.8% of these respondents said that they have been using the app for longer than 12 months. 87.2% of the respondents said that Duolingo meets their expectations very well or somewhat well, whereas 89.2% have affirmed that they're very satisfied or somehow satisfied with the language lessons provided by the application. However, when it comes to paying for Duolingo service, 65.7% said that they are not so likely or not at all likely to pay for the service. This shows that although consumers are satisfied and seem satisfied with Duolingo, they wouldn't be willing to pay for it, which kind of shows the negative relationship between customer satisfaction and perceived value. Concerning trust, 5% of the respondents said that they are not so likely or not at all likely to recommend Duolingo to a friend, but nobody has selected that they are not at all, that they don't believe that Duolingo can guide them towards learning a language. To analyze the repurchase intention, it's interesting to point out that 29% of the respondents of this research have already used Duolingo to learn more than a language, and 67.7% said that they would be willing to use it again. However, 76.5% affirmed that they could possibly migrate to another app, showing this lack of psychological attachment between the users and Duolingo. When comparing this data, numbers shows that 54.84% of the consumers who are satisfied with Duolingo would not be willing to pay for its service. But another comparison made between customer satisfaction and trust indicates that 96.77% of those who are very satisfied would be very likely to recommend Duolingo to a friend. This shows then that in the behavior perspective or repurchase intention, Duolingo's users are loyal to the product, but the lack of psychological attachment that they have and the possibility that they have to migrate to another app shows that the attitudinal approach is a bit more complicated in Duolingo's case, and this is a threat to the loyalty to the application, which is the main conclusion of this research. Thank you.